We can install applications on various devices. If I want to install, for example, on Aaron's phone, I choose Aaron's phone. I could have selected multiple phones there. I choose the software package that I've set up with Sophos Mobile Control. In this case, we've only got 2 here, but it's a matter of setting up the ones that you require. And let's say, for example, I want to install Rock Player. I click on Next, and it says, okay, when do you want to do it? Now or at a certain point in time. It's that easy. Same sort of deal with uninstall. Basically, I want uninstall from Aaron's. I'm picking on Aaron's HTC Desire a bit here. Let's say I want to uninstall his Angry Birds. That'll get him up. That'll get him angry. So I'd simply say, okay, uninstall Angry Birds. Click on Next, and click on Finish, and that will actually remove it. With Apple devices, we're basically sending out profiles to the devices. So if we want to have a look at the profiles that we have for iOS devices, these are some of the ones that we set up. The way you do it is you actually use the Apple iPhone configuration utility to develop and build up whatever profiles that you require, and then you import them into the Sophos Mobile Control console. And these are some of the ones that we've done. So, for example, we've actually done one here for disable camera. Passcode enforcement, this is where I said you can push this down so that we can actually enforce the passcode in the first place, but then we can also specify some complexity to make it more secure. Remove App Store. This is a profile, as I said, if we wanted to actually remove access to the Apple App Store. We just push that profile down. To actually send out a profile, for example, we'll simply click on Transfer. Say it's Aaron's device again. Click on Next. And you click on the profile that you, it's like disable camera, for example. Click on Next, and it's done. And then if you want to give access to the camera back again, basically, you remove this profile that is on the device, and instantly the camera icon reappears on the device. Same with Android devices. We've set up a few profiles there. That fridge notice one is one that I simply set up, that if you run that, a dialog box will pop up on the device or devices saying, warning, the fridge will be emptied out this Friday. It's a bit trivial, but it's just a proof of concept to show that that's the sort of things that we can do. We can remove device administration from the box, for example. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can do with profiles there for the devices. So you can also bundle up configurations and commands, etc. So you don't have to do them all one at a time. And as I said, you can do them with groups. So that instead of having to do one configuration after the other, you can actually do it to a group of devices if you've set up groups, and you can bundle up those commands into bundles and send them all out at once as well. Traffic counter, we do have a traffic counter which we can show for non-iOS devices, and again the reason we can't do iOS devices is because Apple don't give us the capability to do that at this point in time. As these platforms mature more for business environments, then they will more than likely supply vendors such as ourselves with more capabilities to be able to do more with the devices. So it will always improve. But at the moment we can just get this traffic information for Windows Mobile and Android devices. So you can see here, breaking it down by month for each device between GSM roaming and Wi-Fi. You can see that Aaron's gone over his limit here. So it's coming up in red. All right, well that's pretty much a quick rundown of the console. Just very quickly, the task view, I'll just show you. When you do actually send out a task, you can actually see the progress of the task. For example, remove disable camera was a task that was sent out to this particular device. The status of it is successful. This is refreshed every 15 seconds, so you can see in almost real time exactly the progress of the task that you've sent out. If I click on show here, it will give you a breakdown of the various steps for that particular task. And you can see it was accepted, started, in progress, sending notification, exported, result evaluation started, and it was successful. So you can actually get a good view as to how the task has gone. Task archive basically is just a bigger display of the list of tasks that have been done. So that's about a very quick rundown of the capabilities and functions of the console. So if I log out of that now and I switch back to the presentation, which, bear with me for a sec, hopefully I will do without stuffing up. I think if I do that, you should see management console demo, console demo. All right. It works. All right. So continuing on from that, just to give you an example, to give you some idea of what will actually be seen on the device end when we configure and implement Sophos Mobile Control on the device. We've got some screenshots here from an iPhone. And so, as I said, the first thing that will happen with an iPhone is that an SMS will be sent out to the device. The SMS will contain a link, as you can see there, and the user will have to just tap on that link. The install profile box will come up, and the user just taps on install. The standard warning type box will come up to inform the user of what this profile is about to attempt to do. And then the profile will be installed. When it's installed, they just have to tap on done. And in the profile list, you'll see Sophos Mobile Control as a profile on the device. So, for example, if we were sending out a passcode enforcement profile to an iPhone, it would be sent out by the Apple Push Notification Service, and a dialog box would jump in or drop down, I guess you'd call it, or appear on the iPhone with a passcode requirement box, as you can see there. It will give you 60 minutes grace, just in case you're in the middle of doing something or it's not an appropriate time to actually change it now, maybe driving or something like that, or in the middle of a meeting. So you can click on, tap on later if you like, but after 60 minutes it will insist. So the user has to put in a new passcode. You'll see that this says enter a strong passcode with 6 or more characters. That's as per the way that this policy is being configured. So you put the passcode in, re-enter the new passcode, and you'll see now that a set passcode profile is now shown on the device when you list profiles. And the passcode log profile will have the various attributes to it. So, self-service portal, I mentioned it. One of the things that some of you might think is, but hang on a sec, you say that the way that the things are configured is to send an SMS initially, and the iPads don't have that SMS capabilities. That's very true. So what we need to do with the with the iPads is they have to actually be registered initially through the self-service portal. So I'll just take you through what that looks like. What the user needs to do is they need to get onto their internet browser, and they actually log into the company's SMC server through the self-service portal. So basically, you go to the self-service portal and you log in, supplying your username and password, and then you'll provide your username and password. It will log you in. In this particular case, this demonstration, we can see that we have the user is Thomas, and Thomas already has 2 devices already registered with Sophos Mobile Control. There's no reason that a user can't have more than 1, 2, 3 or 4, or however many devices registered to them. In this case, Thomas has an iPhone and an LG P500, and Thomas in this case is about to register and set up the iPad, his iPad as well. So he clicks on the new device button that was on that screen, and he'll get a screen saying he needs to be able to supply the device type and the phone number. Now, because this is an iPad, he doesn't actually need to supply the phone number in this setup. Click on next, tap on next, sorry. Select the platform that the device runs on. In this case, it's iPad. So tap on the iPad, and so then he will get a screen asking for a device name. So he can put in anything he likes here. Ideally and hopefully it's something that's meaningful, but if you've got a user that's somewhere else, not necessarily sitting next to you, they may put in something like my iPad, which might not be entirely useful to you if you've got 100 devices you're managing. But the beauty of it is that when the device appears on the console, you can actually change that to something that's more meaningful for the organisation. And my screen just switched over. Not quite sure what happened there. Hold on one sec. Alright, sorry, I just had a little glitch on my screen. Yeah, so he puts in a name, hopefully something meaningful, but you can correct that later on. And so then he'll get a progress screen saying the installation's being prepared. He'll need to click on the link there, and when it's done, he will get a install profile box come up. You'll need to tap on install. Same sort of deal. This will start looking familiar now. It's the same sort of deal as you saw with the iPhone. It'll be the standard warning message. It'll ask for a passcode to ensure that the person that's on the device is actually the owner of the device. The profile will be installed, and once it's installed, we'll go back to the self-service portal progress screen saying that configuration is being done. Just wait a few moments, and when it's completed, you'll get a basically successfully completed screen. Tap on OK, and it's done. Going back now to the, it'll take you back now to the welcome screen for the self-service portal. You'll notice that now there are 3 devices listed for Thomas in this particular case, and the iPad is included. So you'll notice with this screen as well, I didn't mention before that there are the lock device and wipe device buttons there. So this is where if you needed to remotely lock or wipe a device, you can log into the self-service portal and basically just select which one you want to use and lock or wipe the device. The renew device button there is used where you may be upgrading from one device to another, and so instead of having to do it all from scratch, you can just choose the renew device button and supply the new information. So that's pretty much it for the Sophos Mobile Control we have at the moment. I'll just briefly touch on Sophos Mobile Control 2. This is our next version of our product, which will be coming out within the next month or so. No, it'll be here within the next 2 months, I know that. And this sort of addresses a few of the questions that people have. With Sophos Mobile Control 2, we'll be extending support to BlackBerry devices, Android version 3 tablet type devices, and also iOS 5 devices. One of the other functions we'll have is compliance checks. So if you set policies for various devices and they don't fit the policies that have been configured by the console, the administrators will be able to see which devices are not actually complying with the requirements of the server. For Apple devices, we'll be able to show that the device has been, if the device has been jailbroken. With Android devices, we can currently now show, I've neglected to point out on our inventory with the Android device, we actually can show whether the device has been rooted or not. And for Apple jailbreak, will be able to be detected and reported on the console with version 2. You'll be able to set up an enterprise app store for iOS devices so that you don't have to direct everybody to the app store. If you have your own corporate device, corporate applications, etc., you can set up your own app store. And we will also have the capability to be able to back up and restore selected data from the devices. Sophos licensing